Welcome into the PHNX Cardinals halftime report, halftime show as the Arizona Cardinals travel to Carolina to take on the Panthers. And gentlemen, what we talked about all week could not happen, has happened. The offense looks completely inept. Cliff Kingsbury is at fault, and you would argue in this 10-3 deficit, Bo Brock, the offense is given all of the points to the defense.
Yeah, the pick six from Kyler Murray was backbreaking. They're chasing 7 points going into halftime, Frank Sanders, and that feels like almost an insurmountable lead at this point for this offense that just can't even move the football.
It's definitely barf-worthy.
It is
I mean, it's barf-worthy. Honestly, it's just awful. As Silas says in the chat, like honestly, it's painful. It's something has to change, and hopefully they'll come out and make those adjustments in the second half.
I love seeing Trey McBride the first possession. They throw him a ball, he catches it, and then he's kind of been out there, Bo Brock, as a decoy to block a little bit. The Rondale Moore clamors that we've had, like to use him vertically, that is not happening. He is being used as a gimmick player, screens, and it's even compounded to be made worse because they're not throwing the ball to Greg Dortch. He's losing snaps to Rondale Moore.
Right. What they're doing is a disservice to themselves by trying to work on a guy who hasn't played all season long by taking his snaps away from or giving his snaps to somebody who's actually been one of the lone bright spots of this offense. And not seeing Greg Dortch out there, their inability to move the football is glaring, and Rondale Moore getting these opportunities. One on a fourth down where they're in the red zone. They decide to go for it, and they do a Rondale Moore reverse. You got to keep it
when
simple.
You're guiding them north and south for 6, 7, 8 yards per carry with Darrell Williams and Eno and James Conner. I mean, I'm a Cliff Kingsbury fan. I've been supportive of him. I was very critical of Vance Joseph coming into this week. Vance Joseph put together a great game plan in the first half. Zaven Collins looks good. The defense looks fast. Jalen Thompson securing the first interception of the season. You keep giving the ball back to Cliff Kingsbury. No momentum, no rhythm at all. And Frank Sanders, this once prolific offense that used to stretch the field, it's dink and dunks now.
Last year, Christian Kirk said there was a standard. Remember that? We sat down and we had great conversation with him. He said it's the standard, and they're attacking, looking forward to match their standard of almost trying to put a 40 burger up on somebody. This year, I don't think that's the conversation at all. I don't know what the standard is with this team right now. Maybe it's just to get a win at all costs. And right now, the offense just does not look good at all.
And I don't want to the Cardinals could still very much win this game and be 2-2. And I think the defense is going to give them a shot in the second half because Bo Brock, it looks like Baker Mayfield looks pretty inept offensively, and they're doing a decent job on Christian McCaffrey. But man, the Cliff Kingsbury hate that was coming into this week, you would think that he would be resilient and show up and for the team to rally around him because they hear all that external stuff. They hear the noise. And instead, this is the kind of performance you get.
Yeah, they're underprepared. They're not ready to get out there. They talk about getting off to a fast start, and they just didn't do it. The defense put them in prime position. They get the opening kickoff, and then 2 stops from their defense, and then they come out and they actually surrender the only touchdown in the half on the offensive side of the football. I mean, talk about shooting yourself in the foot, and then a couple other extremities that you're putting a bullet in. It's just that's what they're doing out there. So, look, Carolina gets the ball to start the second half. You got to be confident that Vance Joseph and this defense can get off the field, but you have no confidence in this offense. I mean, as far as adjustments that they have to make, Frank, what do you think they have to do to come out and be successful?
Honestly, I think they need to come back and be physical. I think you got a couple of plays that you can probably run with JC and Eno and let these guys kind of set the tone a little bit. The first half, again, we said they came out looking like they didn't want to throw the first punch. And Carolina did. And again, you're talking about 2 offenses that are about averaging less than 140 yards together.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's an offensive juggernaut out here, both of these guys. But we, as Arizona Cardinals fans, we expect more. I think if we get out, man, and try to just do a little bit more, be a little more physical, and then make them come forward where we can get the ball down the field a little bit more. Right now, it just does not look like they're doing that.
Justin Pugh out with an elbow. He's questionable return. He is injured every other week. Cody Ford, hopefully eligible to come off injured reserve next week. Give you some stability. Right now, you've got Max Garcia. The offensive line doesn't look good. Zach Ertz, who Bo Brock, a lot of people put a lot of hope in this season. He gets the extension. Has not looked good the last 2 weeks. First, he's running behind the first down marker. Yeah. He gets a critical penalty, costs them 10 yards. The explosive plays with this offense, and we said it all week on PHNX Cardinals Live, the yak is not there. The downfield presence, the stretch plays are not there. That's why I think a lot of the fans are like, where is Trey McBride? Where are these young players to at least make things interesting? Because these older players like A.J. Green and now Ertz is like minimal margin for error, and Kyler Murray's out there running for his life.
It adds to the frustration that you have guys that you think you can rely upon that are the ones making the mistakes. Ertz, you got Rodney Hudson snapping the ball over Kyler Murray's head on 4th and inches where you need to convert there. It's got to be just piling on the frustration as a Cardinals fan to watch this team not only have kind of a vanilla offense that isn't moving the football, but in crucial situations just folds like a beach chair when they need big plays from their players that they've invested in. Ertz and Connor and those guys, and Kyler Murray.
It's just speak to a lot of these comments about DeAndre Hopkins, and I think Howie Dewey says it perfectly. He's like, Hop can't expect it to come and save this team. I mean, like, as great as DeAndre Hopkins is, I mean, he's now over 30, and this team is a long way from being saved by one singular player as great as DeAndre Hopkins is. I think Hollywood Brown is a bright spot. You know, the run game, when they go north and south instead of this gimmicky shit, looks good. They can run the ball in Carolina. They lost Jeremy Chin. The front seven doesn't look great. I would expect Frank Sanders for them to come out in the second half if they can get stops and just say, by hook or by crook, we're going to just try to run the ball because we can't do anything else.
Look, you have to find something that's working, and I think the bright spot is the running game. We can find a couple passing plays here or there when we look at how again, explosive Hollywood Brown looks when he gets the ball in his hand. We got to figure something out, guys, and right now, I honestly feel like I don't have the answers for any of this stuff because it looks like crap. And it doesn't look like everyone's coming to play. And that's the sad part. I always say this here. There's someone on the other side that's trying to punch you in the mouth. And if you don't come ready for the fight, this is what it looks like.
Yeah. I mean, Nightingale Sunset saying Seahawks looking to be third in the division, just scored 48 points. The Cardinals would kill for half of that. The Cardinals look like the inept team in the NFC West. And listen, we got a long way to go. And I think their Cardinals are hopefully going to make this a game in the second half, Bo Brock. But, I mean, this offense to me, it looks like Josh Rosen-esque 2018.
Yeah.
And it has no excuse to be that bad given the talent.
The amount of steps backwards that it's taken and the fact that they just can't even move the football, or the thought of them getting into the end zone would shock people at this point because it's been for far too long. 6 quarters that they've played that they haven't scored a touchdown.
Not since the Raider overtime.
It's unacceptable when it's supposed to be their calling card. There's at no point, I don't want to hear anybody talk about the defense. The defense has given them a chance to win so far.
I'm done complaining about Vance.
This offense, you know, for them to put Rondale Moore in the position that he's been put in today and to kind of see a parody of itself, it's on the coaching staff. And hopefully the halftime adjustments are, okay, we're going to go back to our bread and butter, Frank. We're going to get Dortch out there. We're going to feed Darrell Williams maybe in the running game, Eno Benjamin, guys who are having more success out there instead of the guys that we paid, that we wanted to rely upon. They haven't shown up, and we got to go with the guys who are playing and playing at a higher level. The
same way we got to go with our guy Johnny. Johnny's ready to play. Johnny has in his pants.
Listen, we're 1-0. They beat the Raiders when I wore these game pants, so I'll keep it going. We could be half away from me never having to rock these again. But it's unfortunate, but it's fortunate you guys popped in for the PHNX Cardinals halftime show. We will be live PHNX Cardinals post-game show immediately following the conclusion of Cardinals at Panthers. We'll see you then.